Oh yeah, so the VFW appealed to the committee, right? The subcommittee of Veteran Affairs on decision letter specifically. I'm hoping that has some change. I don't think it will, because if you're looking at VA priorities,
Mm,
this has got to be pretty low, right? And
yeah.
I'm just guessing here. I could totally be wrong, right? But I'm just, if I was to bet money, I would bet it's pretty low on the priority chain. But what I do want to talk about are decision letters in two different aspects. One, I think the VA gets right, and you hit it right on the head. If you're approved, the VA does this right. It says, hey, you're approved at 10% for GERD. Congratulations, whatever it says. Right below that, it's very short. This is why I think the approvals, the VA gets it right because it's very short. You're approved at 10%. Here's what you would need for 30%. And the VA essentially copies and pastes the 38 CFR criteria. Bam, right there. The VA gets that right. I'm totally on board with what you said. What the VA gets wrong is if you're denied, because it talks about that's where you'll see the mumbo jumbo, right? The 38 CFR codes for the big three. Got it. If you were denied based on rationale, you'll really see that with secondary conditions. You'll see like a one liner excerpt from the CMP examiner that says, like, the CMP examiner opines that tinnitus does not cause migraines, and there's no supporting literature to show the causative link between migraines and tinnitus. That's it. And then it'll say you're denied. All right, got it. Cool. Awesome. Um, the CMP examiner said a bunch more than that. You just don't see that, right? Because transparency. But right below that, then it says favorable findings. And those four favorable findings that you can have, two of them are stupid. So the VA could go ahead and get rid of those. A favorable finding could be if you're claiming a secondary condition, let's say migraine secondary to tinnitus, and you're denied. A favorable finding would be, hey, your tinnitus is service connected. It's like, well, thanks. Right? Like, I don't even know why you had to tell me that, but sure, go ahead. I'm sure that's favorable, right? The second favorable finding that's useless is if you had a Terra exam,
Mm.
or you rated like you're a Gulf War veteran or a Vietnam veteran. It would say, hey, you are a Gulf War era eligible veteran. Thanks, I
What?
knew that, right?
Right.
Oh my
What?
goodness. So those are completely useless. It's just more mumbo jumbo. The only two favorable findings that matter is, and it will say something very, very close to this. This is paraphrased. It will say you did have complaints in your service treatment records, um, but it was, it would say, let's say acid reflux, but you didn't have a diagnosis of GERD. So it would say, your service treatment records contain complaints of acid
Mhm,
reflux,
mhm,
which is a symptom of the claim condition. Okay.
mhm.
That's the VA saying you have the in-service event. That is number one of the big three, right? I guess I should do that one because, we're going to backtrack there. Um, or another favorable finding, it says, hey, you have been diagnosed with GERD. All right, that's number two. That's the current diagnosis. So you either have the in-service event in the current diagnosis or both, and you're missing the nexus. What do I think the VA could do to make that better? Because the approval, I think, is fine, minus the first like 15, 16 pages. You can just delete those. Um, what I think the VA can do on denials is just say why you were denied in real bold or red or white or green or whatever color you want to use. Say why you were denied. You had the in-service event, you did not have the current diagnosis, right? Or you had the in-service event and the current diagnosis, the CMP examiner did not give a nexus. That way, veterans know right then and there, hey, I need a diagnosis. Hey, I need a nexus. And that's what's going to prompt you on what's next, which is either supplemental, a higher level review, right? Or you're just like, whatever, I'm going straight to the board, which is totally cool. Not recommended, to be honest with you. Situation that will depend on that. But that's what I think the VA can do for decision letters, because it's just, it's funny you mentioned the house thing, because about 10 feet away from me, there's a huge binder that's about that thick. I have no idea what's in there, right? If you told me to go find my deed, I wouldn't know where to look. And that's the same concept for VA decision letters. If you ask veterans why they were denied, they won't be able to tell you. In fact, veterans would believe they've been diagnosed when the decision letter says you were not diagnosed with a chronic
Right.
condition, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they need to make it simple. I'm
Yeah.
going to say something, and I'm not degrading veterans, but I am a curriculum developer and instructor in my real job. Whenever I'm on the platform and I'm teaching, I always teach to the lowest common denominator. Because if the dumbest person in the room can understand what I'm saying, we're good to go. I think the VA needs to kind of lower it down and just say, hey, here's why you were denied A, B, C. It's only 1 of 3 reasons, right?
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't
Yeah. Yeah.
need a 30-page packet for 3 reasons.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You're
and
right.
so that's my opinion on decision letters. Go ahead and take it away, and then close us out, Jason. Whenever
Yeah.
you're ready.
With those decision letters, like you said, I mean, I think that also not only kind of bringing it down a few levels, I think that in addition, we as a veteran community, or the veteran sphere is what I call it, because you have surviving spouses, you have spouse benefits, you have dependent benefits, all this stuff, is we need to get out of our mind that the VA is actually going to help us in this process. They don't. They're not supposed to. Really. I mean, okay, granted, there is some little spots where they're duty to assist, blah, 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 blah. But really, they're not going to provide the diagnosis for you, typically. They're not going to go grab your evidence for you unless you ask them to, and it's a government agency and blah, blah, blah. But if it's at your personal provider, then you have to sign the form. And even then, right, they will only try so many times before they give up trying to get your information from a private doctor. So you have to get out of your mind that the VA is going to do, like, just without a doubt, get all this information to help back up your claim. No, you need to have the mindset of, I need to gather all the information myself and submit a developed claim that provides those 3, right? Proof of service, proof of the in-service event that it either started or manifested during your time in service or as a result of your time in service, and a diagnosis, right? The VA, yes, I get it. The VA has their whole healthcare system, but they are not going to diagnose you. And your C&P exam with a doctor is not meant to diagnose you. It is meant to basically figure out if your nexus is legit and where your severity falls in conjunction with the other evidence that you have, right? So it all comes in, and then they have to, that's why your story has to stay the same. It makes it easy. When it's all over the place, they have to figure it out. So, I think that part of it, Clay, is it's twofold. 1, we can't think that the VA is going to do it for us. And 2, the VA needs to, like you said, dumb it down a little bit and make it just super, super Barney style for us to go, okay, look, this is what you meant. Here's your 3 boxes, right? Here's your 3 things. I have 2 check marks. Good. Last check mark. No. I need that. Right. And then that's easy. And right on the front page, right? All 3 check marks, 20% or 50% underneath it. Cool. Here's why you're not 60 or 70 or whatever. Cool. Then all the other stuff behind it, right?